the chairman of the Campaign for Equal Justice, the one, the only Ed Harndoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Ed Harndoon. I was told that there was only one expectation of me tonight, and that is that I carry out the same old song and dance. I cannot sing, but I can dance.
But as I get older, I got to change my diet. Metabolism's, slowing down. My picture that was up on the screen earlier and that's out there is from when I started my practice, which is now 5 years ago, which is kind of crazy to think about. But definitely look like a deer in the headlights in that picture. I'm more of an elk in the headlights these days as metabolism is catching up. But I tried one of these juice cleanses, right? And this is where you're drinking just juice and water for about 3 or 4 days straight, right? Not something most people would voluntarily subject themselves to, but it's all the rage these days because you're supposed to feel great and have tons of energy, nutritious and delicious, all that good stuff. And for the most part, on day one, that's fairly true. The juice is good, you feel pretty good. You're going around telling everybody how much of a better person you're going to be now because you're drinking juice all the time. And day 2, you're a little wobbly in the oral argument. Headaches all the time. You can't schedule meetings longer than 30 minutes because you got to pee all the time. Day 3, you're across the street in the park, sobbing gently into your bottle of 20-something odd juice and wondering if you can catch a pigeon. Le Pigeon goes from a nice fancy restaurant on the east side of town to a legitimate lunch option at that point.
I really love being a lawyer, and in fact so much that I never get, put enough time to have a family, so I don't have any kids, but my husband has 3 kids, and I know it's tough being a parent. The other day he was complaining that his daughter dresses too sexy. For instance, she doesn't wear a bra when she should, her stomach's sticking out of all of her shirts, and her butt crack's showing most of the time. It made me realize my dad dresses too sexy. Finally, I want to tell you that I just can't wait for the war in the Middle East to be over so people can stop hating me for being a Middle Eastern and go back to just hating me for being a lawyer.
So I went to law school in Portland. After law school, I had to decide if I wanted to be a lawyer, do I want to be a comedian, do I want to be despised for the rest of my life, or merely ridiculed? Then it occurred to me if I became a criminal defense attorney, I could be both. So I've been doing that for some years now, and recently I was diagnosed as having Asperger's syndrome, and it turns out that's not a good thing to have if you're a criminal defense attorney. My clients have an emotional need for me to tell them that I believe their stories, but they don't actually want me to believe their stories. I do, because I'm a literal thinker. My clients just freak out because they can only conclude that I'm a complete idiot. I have no idea what's going on until that part of the trial when the jury erupts into spontaneous laughter. It's like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, then the 85-year-old woman handed my client her purse and promptly fell down. I worked with, at one point, a lot of Spanish-speaking clients. I have never taken a Spanish class, but after you hear words and phrases over and over, you start to understand some of it, and I could pick out, am I going to go to jail? Am I going to lose my job? Oh my God, there's something really wrong with my lawyer.
So the balance is the truth. You're crazy at home and you're crazy at work, and that is the balance. But I feel like it is not enough to just say this. I feel like I need to come clean tonight and really show you what this looks like. The first thing that you need to invest in is a pair of Spanx. Hold this, Judge Maurer. There. You will never work out again. The next thing that you need to buy are plantar fasciitis booties. And you need to wear these every night when you go to bed. Your husband will love them. Because you haven't worked out in 20 years. You haven't stretched in 20 years. And you've been squeezing your feet into those little heels to go to court and client meetings for 20 years. The next thing you will need to invest in is a lice cap. However many kids you have, that's how much lice you will have. And you will find out that you have lice when one of your clients picks one off your shoulder during an arbitration, and you're sitting there itching your head going, why does my head itch so much? Okay. The final thing you will need to invest in to keep your legal career is a breast pump. I couldn't bring the whole thing here tonight. It's just representative. Travel for your legal career will only heat up after you return to work, after your maternity leave, and you are breastfeeding your children. And you will be sitting on a plane in the bathroom trying to drain your boobs as you go through the most turbulence you have ever experienced on a flight, with the plane dropping 10,000 feet and your boobs dropping 10,000 feet. And you will be crying and saying to yourself, is this how it all ends? And you know what? This is how it all ends.
When our friends would come over to our house, they would always ask the same thing, which is, what's that smell? Why does it smell so funny in here? And the answer to that is kimchi. Do you guys know that it's a traditional Korean dish, and what it is typically fermented cabbage, and it's with chilies and garlic and ginger, and you have to store it. It ferments. It ferments for like months and months at a time. There's actually a word in Korean, 덜 익어서. It means literally not rotten enough. And in the old days, the way that they would make kimchi is during this fermentation period, before you open it, you got this like pungent, spicy, malodorous dish. We don't need to get into why we eat it, but it is a dish. what they would do is they would take the kimchi pots and they would bury it underground. You know, of course, like it's like toxic waste, like nuclear waste. I'm like, buried underground for that time until it becomes, you know, good enough to eat. Of course, these days you can't bury your food underground in the yard because it would make the neighbors suspicious. So the way we deal with it, and every Korean household has one of these, is you have the kimchi fridge. And what this is it's a separate, dedicated refrigerator that only holds kimchi that you have to keep outside of your house. Our kimchi fridge was in the garage. Other families, they might have it in the back porch. One family had it just sitting out in their backyard. There's an extension cord going out. But whatever, the principal key though is it could not be in the house with the children, with the people, right? It had to get kept segregated. One time I made the mistake of putting the pot of kimchi in the regular fridge, and my mother was like, no, go outside. Dangerous. Dangerous? You know, in my house, it was perfectly acceptable for my dad to have like an open pan of gasoline at the kitchen table while he's cleaning out tools, smoking a cigarette. That's okay, that's not dangerous. But what was dangerous is to have the kimchi come inside the house where people habitate. It had to be kept in a separate structure.
So 2013 was a year for self-improvement for me. You know, I tried to self-improve in multiple areas. First one, I was working on my diet, trying to do that. Talked to a friend of mine, and he mentioned the paleo diet, right? This is the caveman diet. And so I said, oh, what's that about? And he goes, oh, you just eat like a caveman does. You eat, meat and cheese and things like that. You have eggs, and you have sausage. Sausage? When did the caveman make sausage? How did they get the mammoth into that machine and start going that? Hey, Unc, you want to try my charcuterie? It's fabulous. Oh, go over to the Grog's place. The pterodactyl confit. So that didn't work out so well. So I tried to work on my karma a little bit. I actually adopted a cardinal, right? So we got a new pope, and you can actually go online and adopt a cardinal. Forgive me, but hedge your bet, right? And so I adopted a cardinal, and my cardinal, I thought you could go online. He actually became the pope. I was really, he's like, I was so proud of him. Like, oh, he became the pope. My boy, So I write him a letter, right? I'm like, congratulations, I really did. I wrote him a little letter. I said, hey, I adopted you, congratulations, God bless, I hope you do good. He never writes, he never calls. Oh, Mr. Big Pope, big shot now, right? It breaks my heart. I tried yoga, right? I actually did some yoga this year, which that was a little crazy. Me going to yoga is like me going to the dentist, right? The yoga instructor puts me in some crazy position, right? So I was like, she's like, how's it feel? Good. Do you feel the stretch? Yeah, it didn't work out very well. I tried to be, being a lawyer, family man, husband, it gets pretty busy, not a lot of times for friends. So I try to, be a little more social, attend, go to some barbecues and things like that. Went to a barbecue with a friend of mine, and he mentions that he's going to go dove hunting. I'm like, really? What, koala hunting is a little bit too dangerous for you? Like, that would be, I can see that. That would be a little interesting twist on some Bible stories, right? Jesus, dove comes down. You just shot the Holy Spirit. That can't be good, right? He's like, oh, if you tried dove, you would never know. I think I would. And you're like, what is this, bald eagle? I had no idea.
Thank you, everybody. I can't tell you how happy I am to be here tonight to support such an important cause like access to justice for thousands of Oregonians. And I'm also really happy to be here because it means that I'm not at home with my kids. Because you might know if you're a parent that it's bedtime. And at my house, bedtime is less snuggles and kisses a la a children's cough syrup commercial and more hostage negotiations with terrorists who have increasingly unreasonable demands. Things like, Mommy, I want some water with ice in it, but make sure it's not cold. It's a physical impossibility, kid. I can't do anything about that. But I'm happy not to be home right now. I'm glad Dad's on duty, but I do really love being a mom. It is the greatest job you will ever be trapped in until you die.